Where is this wee Milwaukee Stubby? That's the box. I said I would do a review on it, and I like keeping my word. What's that? What else is in here? Door heavy, and don't know where it is. Oh, what about ye? Okay, found it. There's it there. The eagle-eyed amongst you may notice that I have received delivery of a fake knockoff battery, and we'll talk about that a wee bit. But what I have here is all my Metabo stuff that I have been using for years. So there's a drill here. This is a brushed 600 Newton meter impact wrench, 1/2 inch drive. This is a 400 rated, and this is the same as that. So that one there has been abused, let's say, because I've had that for donkey's years. It started to let go, and I replaced it with this one. This is identical. They have not changed it at all, and I have had this here for 6 months. So I may have been subjected to a bit of cognitive bias when I bought this stuff, when I bought some of this. And, you know, you don't find out until you shell out yourself, I think, and, you know, look at it yourself. But I am able to compare it to tools that I have already been using, and tools that I am very happy with. So much so, I directly replaced this one with that one. You know, it was just a complete no-brainer. No thought went into it at all. Whenever that started to fail, I just right away went out and bought this to directly replace it. It gets so much use and is so good, in my opinion, of course. But this is through real-world usage. You know, this isn't. I'm not a salesman here. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not promoting Metabo over this one. But I'm able to make a direct comparison here, you know. So this is a first impressions video. I haven't really, it might be a bit unfair because I haven't really, it might be a bit hard on this because I haven't really put this through its paces. So I've just received these larger batteries as opposed to the 2 amp hour, albeit they're knockoffs, but I've ordered a genuine 4 amp one, but we'll have a look at the difference between the two. We'll take both of them apart, and we'll see if these knockoffs are worth buying or not. That's another video. But initial first impressions, without really using it, just having a good gander at it, I would put this as a prosumer tool and this as a pro tool. And they're two different beasts entirely. But the price point shows that. First of all, I'll give you a quick first look of these knockoff batteries. So I got 2 of them, and it's this Wheatley brand here, and they're both that 6 ampere hours. So I took this one apart here, and what's in it is an ICR 18650. So I'll get you in that a wee bit. There's it there. So that's a Samsung brand. Samsung make those batteries. So yeah, it actually doesn't seem too bad just from that, you know, look-see, a wee look in there. So you know, I think these knockoff things are hit and miss. You know, you don't know what you're going to get. I know I've looked on the YouTube and there's guys saying that the knockoff versions of this style on the M12 is the problems that they have is it loosens up and it doesn't retain. This one here is definitely clicking in the best. so it seems to be pretty good on the clicking in there, you know. But time will tell. Whenever I get a 4 ampere hour one, it is, so it mightn't be a direct comparison, but you know, we'll take it apart and have a look, see what the cells are in it. So I'm going to leave out for the moment, that aspect of it, and move on to what I think of this. Okay, first of all, price point. I paid £125 for the Milwaukee there, and it's the 3/8, and it's the exact same price for the 1/2 inch. The Metabo, I bought it 6 months ago, and they don't seem to be listing it any longer. The only price I can see at the minute is that £179 there, and it's 1/2 inch. But I'm going to show you how much I paid for it. I actually paid £145 for it on the 14th of December there, as you can see. But that doesn't seem to be listed anymore. So both were bought as body only, and you know, no batteries, so you had to buy your own batteries or whatever. I had 4 batteries anyway, so that was a replacement. I've never had any bother with any of the batteries. I rotate them, and you know, there's a good life on them. There's none of them exceptionally, and they're all genuine Metabo batteries. Now, they can be pretty expensive if you buy these, you know, with the charger and the carry case and the kit. You know, you're maybe talking another £100 or more, perhaps. So it's quite a bit of an outlay initially, but both these are body only, and I actually paid £20 more for that one as I did for that one. And I'm just going to show you a couple of wee things, just first impressions, just looking at it between the two, and like, you know, if you're still able to get that for £20 more, you just wouldn't even consider that. The only thing is, now if we have a look, this is a Stubby, and you're going, you know, everybody's going to say, well, they're two different things there. You know, you can't make a comparison. You know, that is bigger than that one. This is brushless, and that the original one of those, I've had it, I think, from about 2014 or thereabouts. The only receipt that I can find is for 2015, and that was for the 600 version, and that was £206. That's body only again, and I bought the 600 because I was overusing the 400. So 600 as in 600 newton meters, and 400 as in 400 newton meters, and we'll just talk a wee bit about torques here. On the box of the Milwaukee, it states there up to 339 newton meters fastening torque here, and that's the only spec it seems to give in the book here. Let me see. It just says maximum torque 339. I got the end one there. You see that? 339. So it just says maximum torque. But the Metabo gives 2 specifications. Okay, here's the Metabo website for that wee gun, the wee 400. Have a look at that technical data here. Get that up, and let me see. So here it says, make that bigger. Maximum torque 400 newton meters, and that's the name of the gun. It's an LTX400, but it says here maximum loosening torque 620. So there's 2 specifications here, one for loosening, and that's because it's easier to loosen a bolt. So I'll just talk about that for a wee minute and not touch on it too much, but again, that's a subject of another video. So clearly that has less rated torque to that, but you know, it's more compact. And by the way, the 3/8 here is exactly the same as the 1/2 inch, so you can get that in 1/2 inch as well, and it's identical. Now, compactness Okay, I have another gun. Now this is our this thing here, and that is actually more compact than that. So that'll get in. Well, that doesn't, but you need an airline. Now, see this thing here? This thing is amazing. That'll beat that hands down, and does all the time. So I'll just show you that. Here's it here on here. Okay, so that's a FACOM. Now these are there's multiple. They're identical, multiple makes there. So it's just branded the FACOM there. And all right, you might say it's air. You need a compressor. You need good air supply. There's it there, 110 quid. Very cheap. But the interesting thing, hold on, I'll just get it up here for you. 860 Newton meters, 860. So massive delivery there on the power rating anyway. But the other interesting thing is reverse torsion torque. That's 860 breakaway. You know, so that there is actually rated, what was it, 660 or something in reverse. So you'll get more torque in reverse. Loosening torque is higher than the rated torque. Now the thing about the Milwaukee, it just says 339. It doesn't, and it well, on the box it says fastening torque, but that's the only rating it gives. So a comparison for specs here, I don't really know what that is in comparison to these other two. That's 860 reverse. That's 660, I think it was, in reverse. And well, I can only assume that that's 339. So on to the first impressions. Well, here's the thing. The build of this isn't as good as that. And I'm going to show you. So we'll put that we lock in there. So just for me, picking it out of the box and, giving it a good sort of feel around, that there with the lock. There's a lot of movement in that plastic. It's not that rigid. You tap it with your fingernail and it's no way near as skookum as this one. This is far tougher, just by feeling it. And the way this rubber is molded on, that is thicker. You can feel it than this. That's dead thin, The other thing I thought was amusing was, we see this here. There's a hole in this, so all your schmoo is gonna go in there, I don't know what the crack is there. Well, that. So it's a bit chintzy on it. This here moves about a bit, so the plastic ain't as good as that plastic. Definitely not, and that's just from the feel of it. The other thing about it is, if I knock her over here, we can maybe see it. Get you in this. Hold on a minute. I don't know why you can see it or not. I can just have to hold this steady here, because it's so small a letter. But there, it says made in PRC, People's Republic of China. So it says Germany here, but that's the parent company, Tectonic Industries GmbH, the German company. This is made in China. The Metabo is made in their Newton factory in Germany. That's their own factory. So made in Deutschland, and a wee sign on it, RTFM. And there's another RTFM sign on it. So this is brushless. The other two Metabos that I showed, the big 600 is brushed, but this is brushless, and this came out, way before those fuels. The fuels, which are the brushless of the Milwaukee, about 2012, I think, they started producing the fuels, but they only did like a couple of drills and all that there. So this one here, I bought this around about 2014. I know that because I have a receipt for the 600, which is 2015, and I bought this way before I bought the 600. So I think I bought that in 2014, and they've been out for longer than that. because the reason why I bought Metabo was because a lot of the guys that I know in the industry, were using them everyday use, and you know, they got abused, they got threw about, and they stood up pretty well. They complained sometimes that the batteries would loosen up a wee bit, and in the older one that I give a lot of use to, yes, that was correct, and that's purely from sliding it in and out that many times, and stuff like that. So build quality between that and that, there's, you know, that is far superior. And well, I bought that for £20 less than, or sorry, £20 more than I paid for that. So price point, body only between these two. Okay, if you really want the compactness, well, yeah, by all means go for that. But there's not that much difference in price. If we look at the clamshell in here, the way it's been, the fitment of it, there's a big gap in here. Don't know where it'll come up in camera or not, but in real life, you know, the fitment isn't great. And again, it's that sort of, you can definitely feel the cheapness of it, you know. So yeah, so why did I buy that in the first place? Well, it said at the start, victim of cognitive bias, and what I mean by that is jumping on the bandwagon. And these guys are brilliant at marketing. You go on the YouTube and it's completely covered in reviews for this Milwaukee. And when you look at the price point, you know, it is certainly attractive. And there's a lot of guys rant and rave about this. Not so much about this. I rant and rave about this because I've had this stuff for years and it's very good. Now, you might say, but you had to replace that. Well, okay. You know, they keep on about the right tool for the right job. Well, I'm saying that because out of experience, this old one, the one that's failed, I was using that for everything. I was taking wheel nuts off of that, and I was doing everything with that. Now, this is failed, but it still works, you know, but it will cut out, and it got unreliable. And one day I had a bolt soaked with WD-40, and it all got in there, and it was all, you know, brown with rust, and the smoke started coming out, and it let off a terrible smell. So I knew it's on its way out. And then there was times when it was just cutting out and stuff. So I had that, bought that roughly 2014, as I said. So I bought this 600. Now this is brushed. This is a 600 Newton meter, far larger. Takes the same battery, and I use that. That's my go-to for, you know, wheel nuts and stuff like that. But she is a monster of a thing, you know. It's too big, really, for getting into suspension components and all that jazz, you know. So then I bought this for compactness. This gets in the suspension. This gets everywhere, you know. But of course, you need the airline, you know. So you might argue, you know, for mobiles or whatever, or if you haven't got a good air setup, and as we can see, it's actually less you know, it's less larger than this compact or stubby it's promoted as. This in here is smaller than nothing. So that's, to me, that's a stubby. That's an intermediate, you know. So what I found myself doing with this one was I was converting that to 3/8 a lot. And I was putting an ordinary socket on it, 3/8 socket on it. And there's 12 settings in this, you know. So it doesn't go up to 10, and it doesn't do a spinal tap up to 11, put it up to 11. It goes one better than 11, 12. And, you know, that's fully adjustable. So if I was running a bolt in, like a 12mm headed nut, I would wang that down. 5 is my sort of favourite setting, and that, you know, it doesn't snap anything or whatever. And then for maximum loosening of something, I would just wang it up to the 12. So it's dead easy to change, and I just use the 12 and the 5 or the 4 or whatever. So very controllable. And here's the difference between this and that. So I have the Metabo turned up to 12, one more than 11, and I started up loosely. I'm holding this as loose as I can. I'm just sort of stopping it from dropping in my hand. And there's hardly any kickback at all. Very, very slight. And the reason is because it's a soft start. So when I pull that trigger in, it doesn't go full beans right away. So you can hear it like going up. You know, soft start, variable trigger. You know, very nice to use. This contraption, I have that up to max. I think it's on number 3, and I hold that loosely in my hand, and it's just got the wee 2 amp hour battery in it, and it's trying to jump out of my hand. So there's a huge kickback in that. Now I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll change the batteries here, if I can get that out, and put our Faco battery in with Samsung ones in it, as we know, and because just in case that's an unfair comparison there, because there's a bit of weight to the bottom here, you know. Still on 3, so not just as bad, but as you can maybe hear, as soon as I pull the trigger, it's full beans immediately. There's no soft start, and that's why you're getting that bit of kickback on it. In fairness now, the Milwaukee has a variable trigger as well. But when you put that up to something and you just bladder in, it's full beans immediately. There's no soft start. The other wee thing, well, there's that headlight on it there, and there's it going off. So as soon as you bring her in, that engages the headlight. With the Metabo, you just saw it there. As soon as you lift it up, it turns the lights on. Those wee lights, they're not up to much. Like, if you need light, you're gonna have a torch in to wherever you're working in. But I just thought that was a wee feature there. So what do you see us here? So as soon as you lift it up, it puts the lights on for you. So we're going to do a wee test here, and we'll have this Stubby, and we're outside. The only thing I did notice was I have no idea what that's set at, because I can't read that with the sunlight. So I have to cover it over in my hand. Right, that's it at number 1. Right, this car, this is my own car. It hasn't moved in about a week. You can probably see the discs a wee bit rusty, and none of these wheel nuts, I've tried to take them off or anything like that. And we've got the 2 ampere hour. It's fully charged, and we're going to see if this can chooch it. That's number 1. Okay, here we go. Nope. So we're chooching on the number 2. And we'll put it on the same nut. We'll give it a bit of a chance. Right, that's the same nut. Nope. Numero 3. Same nut. Got her off on number 3. There you go. So, okay. It did it. So we're going to do that again, only with the 6 ampere hour one here. Alright, it's a knockoff, but even if it's a 4 ampere hour, in reality, there's maybe a wee bit more on it. So we're back on the number 1 again, and we'll try a different bolt. Nah, number 2, I think that is. Yeah. Number 3. Yeah, got it on 3. So, same results with that battery. So we'll go on to the wee Metabo here now. and it has a 4 ampere hour fully charged battery on it. It's the only batteries I have. And we'll start off with number 5, and again we'll work our way around. We'll try this nut here. So in reverse. No, well, we'll wang it up full whack. Well, no, we'll tell you what we'll do. Put up the 8. There's number 8. There's number 8. So, yeah, I'll just put those nuts back in again. So with the Metabo number 12, full chooch, well, we'll just see what it does here with this next one. Yeah, just right away. Okay. So both of them were able to take the wheel nuts off, so it would be a bit of a disaster if they couldn't do that. But it wouldn't be much good at all, so I'll just pull this battery out. It's brave and stiff, that. So this one here, you know, I'm still sort of saying to myself, well, why did I actually buy this when, you know, I'm fully recommending this Metabo over that. That, to me anyway, is a far superior tool, and it's not that much more expensive than this. Now, that one's made in Germany, that one's made in China, for sure, okay. But the thing about this one is heavily marketed. So you go onto YouTube there, and there's buckets of reviews. Everybody's saying, you know, these are great, and you'll get people saying, I have a load of Milwaukee tools, and they're brilliant. Now, that's fine. I don't. Whenever I see something that's heavily marketed, my skepticism tells me, right, well, if you're putting that much money into advertising and getting people to review the tool for you and all, then there's a huge cost to that. You know, these guys here don't do that just as much, but how much money has been taken away from the quality of the tool, you know, to do the marketing. So that's why I'm very skeptical about heavily marketing things. Now, the only way for me is to buy the thing myself and, you know, use it, give it a run for its money and see what the crack is. Now, okay, I did say that wasn't listed for the £20 more, but that was what I meant by that was the listing that I purchased. You know, it still is listed, it still is for sale, this thing. And the one that was a wee bit dear had a carry case with it. The cheap version that I got, it was just the body only, and there was no carry case or nothing. Just like this one. This was body only, and you just got it in a box, nothing else at all. A cardboard box which goes in the bin. So yeah, that was available for £20 more than that one. And on that basis, I would recommend that every time, the Metabo every time, over this Milwaukee. Now, you might say, but that's a Stubby, it's a different tool and all that. And yes, the reason why I have this, as I showed earlier, was I was putting a 3/8 adapter on that, and I was using that then in engine bays, taking valve covers off, you know, taking battery boxes out and things like that. This is more compact, it's more suitable for that, for sure, and it's going to be for light use, and you know, it's just going to remain sort of in or around the engine. Probably it's probably not going to go near suspension. I don't think it's powerful enough for anything, any rusty bolts or anything like that. Might take the odd thing off or whatever, but I would, you know, I'd reach for that over that, because the specs are there. The specs show that this is less than that one there, you know. So there you go. My conclusion is, by all means, if that's what you want, go for it. But yeah, definitely that one over that one. Now, a lot of people will say, I have Milwaukee tools and they're great and they're brilliant, but what are you comparing it to? Are you comparing it to anything? And I think sometimes with some people, you know, when they buy stuff and, you know, okay, it works, it takes lug nuts off or wheel nuts off, and it does bits and pieces, there may be an element of confirmation bias, and that basically means that, you know, they're seeking to confirm their purchase. they're justifying the expenditure, they're justifying the purchase. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to be like that. People may disagree with that completely, and I may be showing a wee bit of confirmation bias with that, but I'm going by specs, I'm going by experience, I'm going by the amount of use I get out of that. Now, okay, not that particular one, but the exact same one for about, what was that, 6 years, say? About 6 years, yeah. And, finally gave up the ghost. But I was given that too much. My purchases that I've shown here with the 600 that I had and the Facom was that I was using that for everything, and it was getting abused. It was doing like everything. Then I moved on to the 600 to take the strain away from this one or that one's predecessor, and then I got the Facom. So it's sort of progressive, the purchases that I've made, and the Facom one, it gets a lot of abuse. It's far higher torque. It is higher torque than that, and it beats that. If that one there can't break a nut, I change over to the airline one and the Facom one, and it gets it off. And if it can't get it off, you need to go on the breaker bar then, and help it out and give it a bit of loosening up. These things aren't to be on the end all by any means. They don't get every nut off. Well, in my experience, they certainly don't. So you still have breaker bars, you still have all that sort of stuff. I have other air guns which are more powerful again than the Facom one, but the Facom one, for its size, the power out of it is unreal, and it completely blows this away. It is far more powerful than that one, and the big 600 brushed one that I have, it's too big to get in anywhere, but it's fine and it's brilliant for taking wheel nuts off. And if you're underneath and you don't have a clearance issue, say for like subframe bolts or whatever, it'll give them a good run for its money. But there you go. That's it. Thanks for watching. Maybe you get something out of it. Hope it all made sense, and all the best, and bye bye.